Good morning, everybody. Pastor Stitch, Narrow Path Christian Church, BC, and also the North Central Chaplain for Broken Chains, JC. This morning it is September 28th, 2023. I was sitting here and thinking I was going to talk to you about something and looked at my Bible and realized that what I was going to share was for tomorrow. And so we will look at something from Proverbs 28 today. All of a sudden I realized I had read Proverbs 29. I'd gotten a day ahead of myself, and that's never a good thing. Trying to get ahead of yourself is always a bad thing. Verse 14 of Proverbs 28 says this: "Happy is the one who is always reverent, but the one who hardens his heart falls into trouble." We often find ourselves with hardened hearts because we run ahead looking for things. But the one who is always reverent finds what they're looking for from God. I've been having a conversation with a friend, and my heart is breaking right now because I hear it all the time. I used to say it all the time. God can't do anything more to me. I've lost everything. And I want you to hear me. First and foremost, God didn't do anything to you. Justice comes from choices that you make. He always tells us what the outcome will be depending on the choice we make. And we choose that outcome. Secondly, you may find that you're in the deepest pit you've ever been into. But saying nothing worse can happen is the stupidest thing you could ever do. The pit analogy is like this. You've dug a pit, you've gotten to the bottom where you've hit this big rock and you can't dig any further. You're at rock bottom. Nothing else could possibly go wrong. And then it starts raining. And the walls start to slide in on you. And the next thing you know, you hear water rushing. And before you know it, there's a huge river of water flowing into your pit. Now, if you stay calm, listen to the people around you, you might be able to swim your way out of this one. There is hope. But the reality is, if you panic and you don't do the next right thing, you're going to die in that pit. You know, there was a point in my life where I said nothing else could possibly go wrong. And yet, there was so much more to lose. I'm grateful for a God who showed me how to swim as the pit was filling. It might have been as simply as I got knocked outside the head with a rock and ended up floating out of that hole because of God's grace and mercy. But that's not a guarantee, guys. The reality is, you may think that nothing else could go wrong, and there's so much more to lose. So much more to lose. You don't have to lose it today. Solomon says to his sons, you're happy if you're the one who always is reverent or is in fear of the Lord. But the one who hardens his heart falls into trouble. You know, I always had just one thing to look to live for. It wasn't always the same thing, but there was always one thing to look to live for. That in and of itself was God's mercy. It can't be God's punishment if there's something to look to live for. You have that one thing to look to live for. That means God is looking for you to live. If he was punishing you or me, he would take that thing to live for away from you and keep you alive. You have something to live for today. You know you do. When I said it, that thing came into your mind. For me, for a really long time, it was my dog. That was it. There was a period in my life, my thing to live for was hunting. But I had a thing to live for. You have a thing to live for. It's a hope in something. God's not punishing you. He's offering you the opportunity to follow him, follow his commands, and receive his blessings. I love y'all. Hope you have a great day. God bless.